Guys, this is part 2 due to cause my mom came to my room, but we left off that earthmovers all died out due to cause without the sun. They all died out. But all. But yeah, I talked about how in the previous video that all earthmovers died due to cause without the sun, power down. They all died out. All the earthmovers eventually died out. Oh yeah, they basically just went offline. But then humans, after the war ended, humans made the final piece. Actually, not the final piece. The they made the great piece. They dismantled the earth movers. After the earth was inhabitable again, they started going down and dismantling parts from it. And then they started dismantling it for parts. Legs, piece of the body, and also kind of all of the legs were dismantled. They basically just use this thing now, and also this part. There's one now. They just basically just dismantled the earth mover just so they can use it for parts. They also managed to clone extinct animals like pigs and they basically dismantled the earth movers, and they also managed to clone. And in the new piece, they managed to clone extinct animals. You might be thinking that it's like like the actual extinct animals, but no. Basically, everything was extinct except humans and machines. Like pigs, gone. Ducks, gone. Cow beef burgers, disappear, non-existenti. Okay, I'm gonna go into ultrakill. Into the ultrakill to actually God, I'm so bad at this. To show the terminal entries for them. For the earth, I'm gonna turn on Bluetooth, turn on my controller. Go. Switcheroo, we can do. Well, but there are more earth movers that can be seen in the violence layer. Like for example, in 7-2, we can see two earth movers in the background. In 7-3, we can see an earth mover directly upon us. And in 7-4, we see Benjamin, and more in front of Benjamin is basically another earth mover. So in total, they're basically like I don't know, some sort of earth movers that. But there are questions like, how did earth movers get into hell, or how did it get into hell, or were they manifested by hell? Here. Alright. Earthmovers were the pinnacle of the arms race, often called the horsemen of the apocalypse. It took only one to level an entire city and took nothing but fire in its wake. The last era of the final war had begun. These were made at the final war, and also they're a supreme machine, by the way. The first machine, large enough to house a shield generator. These walking fortresses, yeah, apparently humans lived on them. Fortresses could only be made vulnerable from within, making them new front lines for smaller, more mobile machines due to their colossal size. They require both blood and solar power. They require both blood and solar power to function. The final era escalated. In cleansing the world with fire, the surviving civilians were forced to evacuate to build new homes on the backs of these machines, as the surface became an inhospitable wasteland where no flora or fauna could flourish. And now we're going to read the wiki. War had become entirely dependent on them. Large-scale conflict was no longer feasible. Finally, mankind started to work together to reverse the effects of the long night. Began the new peace. 2,000 years for war for its own sake. A 2,000 years for war for its own sake ended not with a bang, but utter silence. At the brink of despair, the planet would slowly learn to breathe once more, and the corpses of these titans could serve as a stark reminder of just how close mankind was to an apocalypse by their own hand. Strategy. I don't know if this is relevant to the lore. Each part of the security system is immobile, making them very vulnerable to attacks that would otherwise easily miss, such as freeze-frame rockets. Some of the gaps in the defense grid are too high for a phenomenal jump. Yeah, these are just strategies. Alright, let's head to the wiki now. Where's Google? I don't mind that, just chatting with ChatGPT. Earthmover. Wiki fandom. Actually, should I read the official wiki? Even though I can't get back because the X button is literally covered by the mic button. Okay, now let's do. Jesus Christ. Stop. Stop. Chill. A massive quadrupedal machine made of dark metal with city lights abound its torso and neck, along with a thin rod of massive destruction. Said neck resemble a spine to better allow it to bend and fire. Attack. This is a supreme machine. The boss fought at the climax of the violence layer, like in Tennis 7. Earthmovers are visible throughout most of the violence layer, with 3 Earthmovers being visible in the distance in 7-2, and a lone Earthmover over the forest of 7-3. These machines have such size that most of the playable level takes place upon and within it, with only the beginning at the end being of the machine. It is a massive quadrupedal war machine, similar in its shape to a centaur. It has a single thing arm attached to its upper body that bears some sort of electric weapon capable of firing massive beams of electricity across distance. Ladders, platforms, and steam vents wind up its legs, and numerous structures, including functional stations and living spaces for humans and habitation, are built upon its back and neck. To, it seems to be engaged in a perpetual duel with another Earth mover, in a sense, firing lightning at each other. Although neither appear to suffer any damage to the shield generators. While Earth movers are immune to each other, the civilians' machines or structures below them were completely vulnerable, creating a virtually unending destructive war without reason. And guess what the OST called for reset in the 7-3. Guess what it's called? Search it up, then come back. It's gonna be funny. Internally, it is a massive hollow chamber lined with flesh and filled with boiling blood to purge intruders, with several idols guarding the path up at the neck, which contains numerous hot pipes that burn V1 and winds to the head chamber that contains the brain. And winds to the head chamber that contains the brain. The brain of the Earth mover is mostly covered by a metal box with numerous tubes to visible CPUs and text reading 1000 THR. The bottom right of the box has become loose with bits of brain dangling. It also has a long spine-like wire that goes to the top with 6 wires connected to the Earth mover's eyes. When damaged, it will wiggle about, and when finally killed, the brain explodes with the Earth mover thrashing in agony. The Earth mover's brain is protected by holographic cylinders with 4 laser projecting walls with that rotate around the cylindrical room. The floor has 2 cylinders, and the ground and left 2 idols on opposite sides of the room to protect the brain. The walls inside the Earth mover head has computers on the walls with keyboards included. Combat for the fight against the defense system. The defense system. The brain of the Earth mover is surrounded by their wall of laser beams that encompass the entire arena. Damage from the lasers cannot be avoided by dashing, but each wall of lasers has a space that a player can jump or slide through to pass through unharmed. Every few seconds, the brain fires a large homing orb projectile. Occasionally, 2 idols will appear in the arena, shielding the brain from damage until they are destroyed. However, you can also use the idol containers as cover from the lasers and heal yourself. Difficulty changes. Harmless. The brain system attacks much slower than usual. Lenient. The brain system attacks slower than usual. Violent. The brain system attacks faster than usual. They need to summon the idols before firing their projectile. Their lasers spawn faster than usual. Brutal. The brain system attack much faster than usual. They no longer need to summon the idols before firing their projectile. The laser has spun faster than usual. The area gained another non-moving vertical laser that prevent the player from making a lap. Terminal data. For more information, see terminal. Okay, this is the terminal we already saw with the terminal. We already saw the armor strategy. Each part of the this audio. The armor's alert siren when it spots V1 at the start of 7-3. Okay, let's hear it. I'm gonna do it again because why not? Because it's cool. Alright, let's continue. The Earth mover's siren when spawning V1 has been interpreted by some players as a cry of fear since V1 was designed to kill Earth movers. Trivia. References. The name Earth movers is derived from a community suggestion in a reference of the song Earth Mover by Have a Nice Life. The song is about large automatons that destroy the world, similar to how the Earth Mover are described to have destroyed the surface of the Earth in the game. The Earth Mover is internally referred to as the Centaur, though isn't referred to such in game to avoid confusion with the similarly named Minotaur. Yeah. Furthermore, 1000 Japanese is Sen, which when paired with THR Thor because they throw lightning, creates Centaur, which is phonetically similar to centaur, This has been confirmed to be intentional by Hakita. This is most likely to Dante's Divine Comedy, where the Hell Circle violence centaurs patrol the first ring subcircle of the circle and shoots arrows sinners that try to emerge from the phlegethon, a river full of boiling blood. The final door that the player exits from is labeled Quake Door, as the design is nearly identical to the door found on the Quake 1 level E1M1 and the Slipgate complex, the level that 1000 THR appears in. Another music reference this time. Lift Y air, skinny's the first fists like antennas to heaven. By Godspeed You Black Emperor, and specifically the final song in the album. The self-destruct sequence may be a reference to Metroid, in which, after defeating the Mother Brain boss, the main character Samus Aran must escape the planet's own self-destructing. Coincidentally, 1000 Romar numerals is M, making the brain itself MTHR brain. The brain of the Earthmover contains panels resembling CPUs, reading GORP and D4W.G. The manner in which it hurts its energy sphere, the way it uses an energy shield to block attacks from the Earthmover in the distance. It is reminiscent to the battle against Ariel and the Spear of Longinus, both from Neon Genesis Evangelion. The Earthmover crushed the Blurple Wednesday feast in Blurple Wednesday by the artist Wega. At the very end, the Earthmover mentioned in 8-3 Disintegration Group MO200OS might be both a reference to the sound cows make, moose, or reference to the god Mokos or Mokus. If you convert the 2000 to numerals, Mokos is associated with pigs' boars. He's also identified with the Roman god Mercury. The Earthmover mentioned in 8-2. 15H Ker could possibly be a reference to the Sumerian weather god Ishkur, also spelled as Ishkur. This would go in hand with 1000 THR being a reference to Thor, as Thor and Ishkur play similar roles in their respective religions. Ishkur is also known as a Hadad in the Levant, and Adad to the Akkadians lore. The long night climate catastrophe mentioned in the terminal entry is likely the same event the street cleaners were invented to fix. Based on the terminal data, 1,000 years after the start of the Final War, Earth had continued to become inhospitable to all life, so the Earthmovers were repurposed to be the last bastions of humanity for the next century. Because of all the ash and soot clouding the sky, the Earthmovers can function without their solar power and begin shutting down. This sparked the development of street cleaners to help clean the air, but were deemed obsolete during the new peace. The Earthmovers may be sustaining on hell energy, substituting with the sunlight, which is beyond their reach within hell. This is supported by the defensive system use of homing projectiles, hideous mass mortars, projectile and mind flare lasers, as well as the same beams used to be used by the Providence Angels as the rotating walls, because Earthmovers were the final machines during the final war, and because of the war ended before V1 would make it to the full-scale production, it is implied that V1 is assigned to destroy Earthmovers. Deployment methods to get onto them could have been similar to the way Gutterman and Guttertank via missile cargo, or alternatively, they would have installed a elevator onto the Earthmover while it wasn't looking. The Guttertank description in its terminal even states that machine was designed specifically to counter the previous, with V1's firmware being last updated around 2,000 years after World War I started on the Earthmover's description, stating that the World War I ended 2,000 years later. This is further supported by how the start of 7-4 like antennas to heaven. The Earthmover stops attacking the Earthmover in the distance in an attempt to attack V1. Instead, it could have understood either through communication with other machines or by recognizing its design that V1 has made to destroy it. However, it gets interrupted by the other distant Earthmover, giving V1 a time window to start climbing. Additionally, in the raison d'etre which translates to reason for life style bonus, is granted upon killing the Earthmover, which is further evidence that V1's purpose is to destroy the Earthmovers. There are signs found across the surface of the Earthmover written in Japanese, implying that it was built by the Japanese during the final war. Its legs are fused into the ground by a red substance confirmed to be the roots of the trees from 7-3, No Sound, No Memory, by Hakita during the Ultra livestream. Easter eggs and secrets. The brain of the Earthmover contains a plush of Victoria Holland, one of the Ultra's developers, sitting on a control panel. This may be a reference to the particular secret ending in Silent Hill. The theme starts playing where it's called the theme of the dog. The Earthmover in the distance that is called a sniper duel with the Earthmover we climb is actually really small and has a plushie of big rock on its back. The Earthmover has a walking animation, which is probably used to simulate the Earthmover traveling on the ground in one of the levels of violence, maybe in 7-2, which is the background has 3 Earthmovers moving around. And how is that this thing has not busted yet? The lights and pipes on the side of the Earthmover were yellow hook opens on the platform depict the meme loss. If the player somehow manages to escape the Earthmover without killing all the enemies inside, not touching the final vent nor the ground on the exit area before the time runs out, the enemies will die upon the Earthmover detonation, and the player will receive the unique plus mad style bonus for each enemy killed in the explosion. This does not mean that the Earthmover felt angry upon death, rather it stands for mutually assured destruction. In the Earthmover with a malicious face and 2 mannequins, a door can be seen alongside some kind of computer terminal. It is unclear if they're related or whatever door can be opened in the first place, but no clipping inside reveals a small room with a sign and a pot of flower. The sign outside the area reads generator, siphon plant. And the sign above the sunflower reads generator, siphon, plant. The first plant referring to the facility at the second plant, referring to the sunflower. There's a tiny top hat on the one in the game model of the Earthmover. When spawning the defensives via the sandbox, each part has its own separate labeled health bar. Development. The Earthmover's design was inspired by the God Warriors from Nausicaa and Zerth from Bakuranu. Prior to patch 14b, it was possible to get the Earthmover to kill itself by clipping through into its head that the defense lasers are activated. The brain does not intended to be activated like this would wriggle out of its confines and be shot by its own defense grid, enshrining its health. This sparked a speedrun category called Lobotomy Any and has since been patched. Prior to patch 14b, the lasers in the Earthmover's brain fight were turquoise, identical to the Mind Flayer. However, this confused players who thought that they could dash them, so they were later changed to be pink. Others, similar to the Corpse King Minos and Leviathan, the Earthmovers are visible in earlier levels, coming close with each level. The Earthmover is the first Supreme machine in the game that isn't a V model. The Earthmover is currently the biggest enemy in the game, towering over even the Corpse King Minos. The majority of the community calls Earthmover Benjamin due to cause of a Reddit post. The community name Benjamin most likely comes from the common practicing name of Absolute Behemoths, innocent and unassuming names. The jiggle physics for the brain was taken from a not safe for work game called Kobold Kare. I'm not going to get into it. According to Act 2 the developer commentary, video times also made the Earthmover the second boss to said after the Minotaur with its underbelly. Earthmovers are the inspiration for trench bleeders in the Roblox horror game Pressure. Another Roblox game called Tower Defense Simulator, there's an evolution tower that references the Earthmover, specifically the operator. This last upgrade is named 1000 THRM, and the helmet is a copy of the Earthmover's head. Name 1000 THR simply is identification rather than the name of the Earthmover as a whole, as we see other Earthmovers like 15H Curve, which suggests that there are as many Earthmovers as there were other machines, with the exceptions of V1 and V2. gallery. Got pictures of Benjamin. The first appearance of earthmovers visible in the distance in 7-2 Benjamin. Earthmovers visible ditto, but from a different perspective with Fulbright active. Closer look at the earthmover's upper half with Fulbright activated. Writing the distant earthmover. A big rock BMP plush. Am I going insane? Yeah, apparently this is supposed to basically this is supposed to resemble the Lost meme of like these 4 things. Earthmover in the Christmas event. Oh yeah, and I was like, jingle bell, jingle. Patched glitch that allowed the player to kill the earthmover by activating the brain fight within. Concept art for the earthmover by Big Rock BMP. More your earthmover's lightning spear concept art by Big Rock BMP, and concept for the earthmover's core/brain. The small hat on the earthmover in 7-4. It's difficult to notice due to its size, and yeah, you can see it. The earthmover from the perspective of the V1 during the start of 7-4. Earthmover wearing bunny ears during the Easter event. Depiction of earthmover and V1 seen in the official music of cover for War Without Reason. This basically is a whole bunch of gallery references. Hakita comments on the earthmover for Ultratober. Victoria Holland, they're called centaurs? Okay, what does 1000 THR mean? From a book found in pt2, text scan earthmover mentions detected January 30 by scavenging technologies from the course of our past home 15H curve. We have managed to establish 2-way audio signals with 4 other communities that have likewise survived that hellish century on the backs of other earthmovers, and we are now pooling our knowledge together to find a way to share our resources. By sheer luck, in one of the communities, Gillies has found someone who has shared a pre-war answer with. Moral is at all in time. The war lasted 2,000 years, the last century of which has spent on the backs of these earthmovers. Ultra Act 3 developer commentary stream, YouTube, site navigation, and that's all. I explained some stuff. We read the terminal entry, the wiki. What more? I could try to go look into fan theories, like for example, how did the earthmover get in? But in this video, I just kind of try to explain everything like the earthmover according to the game, according to the game's lore in the game. But yeah, bye guys. This was everything about the earthmovers. I hope there's gonna be like more lore type with earthmovers. So yeah, bye guys.